Hey, what's up, yo? This is KLA, Cloud the Wanderer. I don't get my glasses. I misplaced my glasses. I'm blind as a bat. But, I wanted to do this interview. And, I appreciate this person coming. And, they're going to tell you about this story. And how you doing, Katie?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just can't find my glasses, but it's another. That's a
It's okay.
different story. Yeah. So you from? So I seen a little bit of your interview with Dee Dee on the spot, and you
Yeah.
from Mississippi and
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
So, originally from South Mississippi, I've officially been in Florida for 5 years. Moved here for bodybuilding and personal training. And the first women's physique show I did was the year after I moved here. I had hired Dave Palumbo and we prepped for a whole year. So, the first time I stepped on stage here at the Tampa Extravaganza, I won the whole show for women's physique. And shortly after that, that's when I did the interview with Dee Dee on the spot, actually.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Mhm.
That's cool. So so I have like this question, from then till now, how would you say your how would you say um how would you say you're at a good place in bodybuilding? Like
From from winning the show until now,
yeah, like from the beginning, from the
from the beginning,
beginning
based off of
to to
now, 2019 was the first year I stepped on stage for women's physique. I've actually
oh,
been
okay.
competing since 2015. So way back when, almost 10 years ago, when I still lived in Mississippi, I did bikini in 2015, figure in 17, and then 2019 women's physique and won the show. So I would just say it took a lot of time, a lot of food, a lot of just focusing on diet and training, because you can train your ass off and you can work out really hard, but at the end of the day, if you don't eat enough, like you're never going to grow. So for me to have a fast metabolism, I really had to focus on eating like way more than I ever did, um, from say 2015 to 17. You know, um, Now I would say I don't eat as much as I did back when I was doing shows for physique. Um, I'm not really an advocate of competing now that the drugs are so heavy.
Right.
It's like from 2019 to 2022, all they've done is push females to be bigger, and so every class is bigger. Bikini's bigger, so physique has to be bigger. So women's bodybuilding is just like gorillas. So um, I did the show, I won it, and that was kind of my um, really life goal for myself. Coming from someone that loved fitness but was a bikini girl, 100 pounds soaking wet, for me to go from 100 pounds to 130 shredded on stage in physique, that was my ultimate goal. So I pretty much just maintained the life. Obviously, I'm not going to diet down and take Lasix and dehydrate myself for a show again. But I do still lift like a bodybuilder, and I eat like one, just not to the extreme. I'm not like force feeding myself 6 times a day like I had to do years ago to get to this level.
Yeah. What did you do like when you competing what kind of amount of food that you had to eat to just grow?
It was like a full breakfast, like think a cup of egg whites, 2 eggs, half cup of oatmeal, half cup of berries, and then you had four like regular meals of my protein got as high as 7.5 ounces. I was personal training and teaching group fitness all day, and I was burning through food like crazy. So Dave Palumbo actually had me eating 7.5 ounces of turkey or chicken 4 times a day. and then I had like 6 ounces of sweet potato or rice and vegetables, plus like your protein shake. But it was so many like just big meals, and you're trying to eat between class
Yeah.
and teaching. So I mean, I'm doing good to get like 2 big meals in, and breakfast now. More kind of like normalized eating. But because I've done this for so many years, like I hold my muscle. I don't have to, overkill the eating to maintain what I have.
Yeah, I seen your physique. I mean, you have a nice physique. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I wouldn't think that you would want to get bigger,
Yeah.
because it seemed, yeah, because from an outsider, just looking at, the different divisions, like, in my opinion, I always there's moments I can't even tell which is which. Like
Right.
I mean, yeah, like I had to slowly kind of like look at it, like to understand it through somebody else. They was telling me, you can tell from this and that because through the legs, physique, the legs is bigger, and bikini, you know, um, they just show more, let me say ass, if
Yeah.
I could say that. Yeah, and with bodybuilding, the waist is trimmed and stuff, and maybe some things, some areas are bigger, you know, but yeah, yeah, like for like the average person, it's not really like it's not like they you could tell the difference and stuff, and it's like what how do you what's your thoughts on the stigmatized bodybuilding, because because I remember like in Living Color, Jim Carrey, he made like impressions of a female bodybuilder. I don't know if you was watching the Living Color, and he would it was like he was poking fun at it, like in the sense of they're mannish, and they would manhandle guys, and he would like do like this voice imitating like of a horse and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Um,
yeah, and
I mean,
go
I
ahead,
don't,
I'm
I
sorry.
don't really care. I will poke fun at bodybuilding too. Just because like you just kind of take it lighthearted. It is what it is. I mean, there's
Right.
still a stigma of like we're stupid, like we're just like a bunch of meatheads, right? But I mean, like my fiance is not a bodybuilder, and he's much older, and we don't think the same. So it is kind of funny. He's very like he doesn't understand peptides, he doesn't understand supplements, he doesn't understand recovery, and me, my bodybuilding friends, like our whole life revolves around we have to recover, we have to have the body work done so we can train, and we have to have our supplements, and we're putting our bodies through torture, and so we get strains and tears, and so we take our peptides, and it's like I get a lot of shit from him, but I'm just like he doesn't understand it. So I think it's kind of interesting. We have our own little like world where like that group of people and population, we
Yeah.
like the same things. We see things as more important, whereas general population could like care less. Um,
Yeah.
or like sauna and cryotherapy and the compression boots. Like to bodybuilders, it's like, oh, we need that. That's exciting. It makes us feel good. And to general population, they're like, are you crazy? Like you get in a freeze chamber in a negative 140 degrees. Like why would you do that? Like that's so stupid. But that's what makes it kind of interesting. I think that being different is kind of what gives me and other people, general population per se, an interesting relationship together because they're always curious. They're like, what do you do and why do you do that? So it's kind of like I get to teach people, and it's something special that not everyone does. So I'd rather be more unique and different and stand out than just be, like everybody else. So I think that's what
Yeah.
really got me into bodybuilding. I've got to
Yeah.
stir spaghetti.
Oh, so I mean, like, how would you educate somebody that don't know the sport or anything like that?
I just educate them for like what it is the best I can.
Yeah.
I explain to people competing is not easy. It's not healthy. I don't condone it. If that's something you want to do, like it's just your goal, go for it. But don't just make your life about competing. Like I'm a bodybuilder, but my life isn't competing, anymore. And if you know you're not going to go into bodybuilding to make it a career to win money, I just think that you really shouldn't waste your time doing it. The soccer moms that are overweight and they're like, oh, I need to do a show so I can lose weight and get skinny. That's the wrong way to go into it. And I try to explain that to people. Also, a lot of girls want to do bikini and figure, and not a lot of them understand that those girls, even the bikini, take steroids. And they're like, why can't I look like them? Why don't I look like them? I train, I work out, I eat right. And I'm like, it's not that easy. It's like drugs are, they are kind of magical. Like you take a little bit as a female and it changes your whole physique pretty drastically. Um, I'm not saying you should do them, and I'm not saying like you should take a lot or certain things, but if you have a good coach and they know what they're doing and they're safe, if you take a little bit of something, it really does enhance your physique. I know from personal experience, training my ass off, I never could grow muscle. I was an ectomorph, I was skinny. Um, I couldn't grow muscle. I could eat shit and just never change. I'd be 100 pounds. But when I had to take just a little bit, then it was like, oh, the muscle is actually coming on. And then that's when you kind of get excited and get addicted to it. But again, the difference is it's like you have to know what you're doing, know what you're getting into. Some girls will get into it and take a little, and they'll start to see some muscle. They'll get addicted and they'll go the complete opposite way. They'll start using way too much, then their hair will start thinning, their skin will break out. They'll completely mess up their hormones. So again, it's like not a lot of women and men understand the role of drugs in the sport. You have to really educate yourself, you know? So same thing with peptides. Like people are like, what are peptides? Are they illegal? Is that a drug? And it's like, no, it's aminos. It's good for you. I'm not taking peptides. It's not like taking cocaine. It's like I take this and it makes my injuries heal. But there are some crazy people out there that they're very like anti-steroids, so they're anti-peptides, and they will just like be almost angry if you take peptides, and it's like for what? Like
Yeah, that's
people just don't
yeah,
understand.
yeah. Like even like the drugs you telling me, that's intense. Yeah, you have Rolando G, Katie, you are so right. Taking so-called supplements, you will see much of difference. You definitely right. You can't mess up your bodies. And then he says, "Wow, your fiance, while you're married to a man, sounds like he does not understand. He's still with you. Must be something he likes about you. Interesting."
Yeah, he says
Yeah,
he loves me for me and my heart, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna bodybuild though. And it's like he's supportive, but he's not like he would never want me to compete, and I would never compete. I'd never put him through it, just because it's a lot to be hangry. Hangry is a real thing, and
so
it's
you,
expensive as hell.
so you stopped altogether. You just you would say you retired.
Yeah, when I won, that was my goal. I actually always hated competing. Like every division I competed in, I hated the process. I hated feeling weak and tired and hangry. The prep goggles is real. To prep for a show, and general population look at you and they think you look perfect, but you look in the mirror and you still think you're fat, and your coach is going, "You're almost there," and then he pulls more food, and then you're associating, well, my coach pulled food, I must be fat. So then you think you're fat, and then you see yourself on stage when you are dehydrated and there's no fat on you, and you have all the pictures. You're in that moment. So every day after that show that you don't look like that, it really messes with your mind. And it kind of goes back to, oh, well, now I'm fat. And then you're chasing that stage look, which you should never chase that stage look because it's very, very unhealthy. So it's
Yeah, it's like,
competing is wreaking mental havoc on people's emotional state.
yeah, like you talking about like real ugly stuff. You
Yeah.
know.
So I don't,
Yeah,
I think you should find a balance and
yeah.
do it in a healthy way. I will always be on hormone replacement therapy. I will always lift and I will always eat a certain way. But that doesn't mean I'm going to kill myself and my joints to get back on stage. Because my joints have taken a beating over the years,
Uh,
just pushing so hard to be, no body fat. I'm sure you
uh.
found the pictures of the stage shots.
Yeah, yeah, I got some pictures on all the rage George page. Everyone needs to understand bodybuilding isn't easy. Yeah, it
Right.
sure ain't. I mean, it sure ain't because a lot of times, majority of the times I've been talking to bodybuilders and they tell me about certain things I might not even understand. I remember there was a bodybuilder, they was telling me about diuretics and I wasn't too sure what that was, and it was like flushing out the body and stuff like that. It's like a drug and stuff. And yeah, yeah, but so that was like your when you first did physique,
Right.
2019.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I got some pictures. um um boom, boom, you have some nice pictures.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, this the handsome prince. How you guys met? If you want to go in detail.
Nah. Not
Okay,
really.
okay, yeah. So people are watching the Super Bowl thinking it's a good spend of their time. It brings them no value, no success, and doesn't make them better people. They wasted their time, ate shit, got drunk, and woke up looking, feeling like shit. Just saying. What's your thoughts on that?
So that was very controversial because a lot of people were like, well, if it makes me happy in the moment, I should be able to do that. What's the big deal? And it's like, well, if it makes you happy in the moment, fine. But aren't you going to complain next week how you are fat and you like feel like shit? So, it's like you have to really be mindful of your everyday habits. Every little habit you have makes a big difference. And it really doesn't take much to mess up your diet and put you behind or at least stagnate you. I was
Yeah.
very
What's
fortunate.
your
Hmm?
huh?
I was
No,
very
you
fortunate
just gonna say.
to meet Miss Olivia.
I didn't hear what you said.
It was really cool to meet Miss Olympia, Andrea Shaw. She was,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was pretty cool. She knew who I was.
yeah. A lot of people got a lot of positive things to say about her. I know she's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your
And
question?
you got, yeah.
And Brooke
No,
Walker, I trained with her.
say that again.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just adding to that, like ask you a question about what's your thought like sugar addiction and even just food addiction in general. Like a lot
Yeah,
of people, they're like, especially like Americans, we just consume sugar and
and
we.
there's so many alternatives. It's like okay, if you like sugar in your coffee and you initially don't like stevia, I get it, but over time you will eventually learn to like stevia in your coffee and it won't be a big deal. Cutting out dairy and lessening the amount of cheese you eat if you eat a lot of cheese, cutting out bread or just anything white. You can find other things to eat. You can replace like white potatoes or white rice with like sweet potato or some different kinds of squash. You can, hell, get on Pinterest and look up healthy recipes. And Pinterest was kind of my start for nutrition too. I didn't know how to cook. My mother didn't know how to cook. I grew up eating shit food, fast food, and like the most horrible things you could think of. I should have been a diabetic by 20. That's how bad I ate growing up.
Mm.
So I would get on Pinterest and I would just Google healthy recipes, and it would show me like healthy swaps, etc. Um, if I want candy, I will eat a Quest Reese cup because it's not like real sugar. If I want chocolate, I'll get like a chocolate chip Quest bar. There are, Lily's chocolate chips out there that are, very low calorie. But over time, the more healthy habits you have with your diet, the easier it gets. You don't even think twice. A big thing for me was using the sugar-free barbecue sauces and ketchups. Cooking my own food, mixing up my ground beef with the sugar-free sauces. Um, learning how to eat mustard, that was a huge. I hated mustard. 2019, I had to eat chicken, and I was so sick of chicken. I couldn't have any condiments except mustard. And it's just like you get so hungry, you put that chicken and mustard, and you get used to it, and it starts to taste good. So now, it's like I can eat mustard on everything, and I'm fine with it. I've been eating that way for 4 years now. So it's just like, to me, it's good. I will use 0-calorie spray butter instead of real butter. Pink Himalayan soft your food. There are just ways you can make food taste better. The air fryer for me was huge. Um, Before the air fryer, my ex was cooking my food on the grill. And before I had him, I was baking it in the oven, and it was rough. You talk about forcing your food down. I was eating like baked fish, tilapia and cod and baked chicken. That was the worst of times. So, if I can, cook that horrible food and eat it, I think people now can learn how to make, good tasting food with the air fryer, and they've got all those really good sodium-free seasonings now. Nutrition has come a long way, and it's definitely in the major stores and more mainstream now. And I don't think people have an excuse. I think social media has a lot too. Different people I've talked to have talked about the creamy ninja. I don't have one, but I've seen the recipes, and I've seen really yummy looking things coming from that. So protein powders, you can make really tasty stuff with your protein powder.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like you have to be smarter and stuff. Because there was a point where like in my 20s, you know, I I I I didn't. I was really ignorant with eating and stuff.
Mm.
So I'm a big eater, and I went to the doctor and one time, and he told me that my cholesterol for a young person is very high, and so I had to kind of do better. But even
Mm.
now, like as I'm older, 47, it's still conflicting and stuff because sometimes even the healthy stuff, it can be expensive or it don't taste good and stuff. But I because I'm getting a little chubby a little bit, but I have to kind of fall back with the cakes and ice cream and all that stuff. So it's not very easy because as a young kid, you kind of get kind of attached to these things, and so you have to kind of like be like, okay, enough is enough, and
Yeah,
so
it's it's like for me, if I eat ice cream or like a lot of sweets, like I will be sick, and I'll be
right.
like, all right, now back to like diet. But now, like if you go to a restaurant, it's so expensive. It's a lot cheaper now to buy your food and cook it. So that's been huge too.
Yeah, like where I'm at, they have like this Chinese restaurant, and but it's vegetarian and stuff.
Mm.
I mean, sometimes I don't know. Maybe could they probably put some grease there? I'm not sure, but I think it's more. It could be more healthier because they have like some steamed food and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, like a lot of my
how
clients try to
the
find it out, so I just tell them try to make the best choice you possibly can.
right? All the Ray's George Page asks a question. How does she feel about natural bodybuilding?
So, how do I feel? I mean, there's a reason there's natural bodybuilding shows in the NPC. It's because if you're competing in the NPC, everyone's taking something. And natural bodybuilding, you're obviously only going to get so big. Um, I think to each their own. You know, again, it's like both are industries that are making money at the end of the day. So whether you're competing naturally or in the NPC, you're paying them money to be on stage and be judged by them. Okay. So again, that kind of goes back to if your goal is to be in a teeny tiny bikini on stage and recognized and have the feeling of you accomplished something or have the pictures of the one day you looked absolutely perfect, that's fine. But I mean, it just goes back to live your life, do it for you. You know, I'm not going to spend $5,000 to be on stage for 2 minutes. You know, not again. And I'm thinking in the natural shows, it's a lot too because you have to pay for these polygraph tests. So either, you know, company you compete with, it's still a lot of money to invest.
What made you want to compete, or and like how was you like when you was a teenager, when you was like when you before a bodybuilder?
Okay, so I'll tell this kind of two stories because it's two things. So when I was back in Mississippi, you know, 2014, I became a trainer. There was a lead trainer at that gym, and he was a male competitive bodybuilder. And he's like swore up and down. He competed, and that gave him clients. And he was like, I swear on everything, if you start competing, you'll attract more clients. The publicity will bring you more clients. And I mean, I was young. This was like 10 years ago. I was like 21. So I was like, fine, whatever. If it means growing my personal training business and doing what I love, training people, you know, and like making money, fine, you know, I'll do it. So the cheapest way I could, I did this show, and I was bikini back then, and it didn't really make a difference in my career, like not zip. And I was never big on social media. Social media wasn't, you know, near as big back then as it is now. But it was like you see 80 bikini competitors, and then you see like 30 figure competitors, and you see maybe 10 physique. And okay, the second part, I'm very competitive, you know, by nature anyway. And I thought, like, okay, everybody can do bikini. It doesn't take much. You lose weight, you diet, fine. Figure, okay, they're more muscular, it's harder. But I was like, physique. I said, now that's interesting. Not a lot of people want to or can do physique because it's hard. And my mindset has always been I am chasing and I want to achieve what is really, really hard. I've never chose something that was easy. You know, personal training is really hard, you know, and I chose that. So that was kind of my thing. I was like, you know what? I want to be the one. I want to be the unique person that has this really cool transformation and achieves this women's physique look. Around about the same time, I was introduced to Dana Lynn Bailey, and I loved her physique. I thought, wow, you know, nobody looks like that. And it was just like, I was enamored, you know, by her back and her shoulders. And I always thought, that's who I want to be. That's my goal body right there. That's what I want to look like. So from 2015 to 19 was kind of like me chasing that Dana Lynn Bailey physique. And, you know, of course, I moved from Mississippi to Florida, and I had to start over with personal training. And did winning physique or competitive bodybuilding ever grow my business? No, not really. But you know,
Mm.
again, I still had that competitive nature about me that I was going to keep on, and I was going to do physique, and I was going to win. So it was like I achieved it, and you know I'm good. You know I've got the stories, I've got the um, experience, so I can absolutely help other people. But who do I mainly help? General population, overweight people and geriatrics. So, just more sticking with that.
How was that for you, like with teaching like the general public?
I've always enjoyed general population because they're not hard to deal with. They're not expecting a dramatic change. They're not like stressed out and high strung all the time like bodybuilders. So it's just easy. You make them strong, they're happy. You teach them good foods to eat, and they may listen to 50% of your diet advice, but it's better than they were doing. They're just nicer. They're they're just wired differently. Um,
Yeah,
Everyone I worked with, I was close to, and I developed a friendship. You can't work with bodybuilders and get that same connection. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
way more like serious and business. I taught group fitness to general population, and it was fun. I loved it. They loved me. They felt like they got a good workout, and they felt accomplished. So, I really just enjoyed that.
Was it to a point like when you was competing, you had to kind of like separate yourself from friends or family or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I barely talked to friends and family. I mean, I talked to like my mom and my dad, but my friends, I just never hardly talked to. I never hung out with anyone. I never went anywhere. Never did anything fun. Only went to eat out when it was a cheat meal, and I worked. So again, I worked in the YMCA. So my clients were like my friends. That was who I saw and I communicated with. I taught group fitness, and those were like my friends and my family. That's who I spent my time with, and that was like my day every single day for that whole year of getting ready.
Okay. You got my boy Leroy Kong. Great interview. Thank you, sir. One magnificent lady. There was another comment. Love her. She has become a very happy, positive person now in a relationship. She wasn't that way a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a wild ride.
so yeah, I mean, so you're more you would say like you're not miserable.
Right. I mean, I've been up and down with competing. I've been in and out of relationships. I've had to move around. I've had to really think, what is it I actually want? Not what I think social media wants, but what is it I want. So I'm in a much better place. I'm lifting for me, and I just feel better about not having to kill myself for stage every day. So,
Yeah, I guess you can say that's a lesson for you. Like in life, it's a journey, and you just probably had to go through that to understand. That's all. I mean,
right.
if it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Hindsight 2020,
oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I could show you like some a little feature presentation.
Nice.
Is your workouts always intense?
Yes, yes. Again, I've always had that competitive nature. So when I'm in the gym, it's like every workout has to be better than everyone else's. Like, it's like I don't care what Miss Olympia does. It's like I want to do more and harder. I've just
Oh.
been like extreme like that.
Do
Like
you
my leg
pay
workouts,
attention? Huh?
my leg workouts are sometimes 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've been like that even after competing. You know,
Yeah. Like what's the is there a specific reason why you work out intense like that, or I don't know. Just
it's the competitive nature of me. I guess it's like I
oh
always feel like I want to be the hardest worker in the room.
oh oh. You
You know,
ever played up a sports or anything to be that competitive or any?
nope,
No,
nope.
that ain't like the only. You're not the only bodybuilder well person to say that. I've heard bodybuilders say like they never competed or I mean like played sports
Right.
and bodybuilding was like their first sport. But
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
yeah, it's funny because it's not like a popular sport. Like people that I know, like people around me, like if you ask, tell them about who's Linda Murray, they don't know who that is.
Right. Right. It's like
Yeah,
15% of bodybuilders in the world. You know.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
we're a unique category. But all
yeah.
right, I've got to get this dinner ready because I'm a good fiance and I cook dinner.
All right. She bulked up. Is she open or physique? I don't know.
Women's physique.
Women's physique. All right. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Okay. Thank you for flex.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. All right. All right, folks. She has to go. I appreciate your time though.
Thank you. Appreciate
All
it.
right. No doubt.
Bye bye.